Let's say that architecture and UX design are like two roads, each in their own area, on their own path, however, towards the same destination. But what are those roads? Are there any intersections? And what is this shared destination? Let's find out together. Let's start with exploring the common aspects between construction architecture and user experience design. It's all about the user, and I would like to emphasize on that. No product, digital or physical, will succeed if it's not focused on the user's needs. Architecture, UX design, and every design in general would be pointless to exist without their users. In that sense, we can even say that the user is like the main character in a movie, the reason that drives the story forward. Thanks to the user's needs, desires, and requirements, design offers new products, enhances other products, and in general keeps the spark of creativity alive. However, design should be distinguished from pure art, and I would like to underline that. Both design and art are products of creativity, yes. However, art is a subject for interpretation. Everyone can see it with their own eyes, understand it in their own way. Immanuel Kant, a German philosopher, had said that art is purposeless, meaning that it doesn't need to justify its existence, or it doesn't need to be valued by others. It's art. It's simply there, and it tends to provoke some kind of emotion within you. And sometimes, even no emotion is some sort of an impact. Design, on the other hand, however, has purpose and has goal to fulfill. And it does so by communicating clear messages with the user. Design doesn't leave much space for interpretation, and it shouldn't. Imagine yourself in this situation. You want to push a door in order to open it, but instead you need to pull it. I guess such situation would make you frustrated. You wave by with a hand, continue on, but in the end, deeply inside of you, you would wish that this door was designed better. Yes, we often talk about good and bad design, but there is no good and bad art. As I said, it's an object for interpretation. Good design, unfortunately, is often invisible. However, when we see something that we don't like somewhere, that's a whole other story. Because in the end, design provides the users a product, and we, as users, set the measure for that product. And speaking of products, let's take a look at the basic elements of two products, on the architectural side and the user experience side. So, on the architectural side, we can get a chair, a simple yet very important basic component of an architectural environment. After all, we use it in our daily lives. And on UX design side, let's take a button. Yet again, simple element, however, very important, because without it, we wouldn't be able to make most of our interactions. I mean, come on, we can't all remember the keyboard shortcuts, can we? So, these two basic elements can be combined together with similar ones. Like two chairs and a table can create a nice sitting area, and a button can be a part of a bigger control, such as filter bar, for instance. Building our picture further, we can say that this simple sitting area can be a part of a nice living room, as well as the filter bar can be of great use in some web page, for instance. I hope you see the analogy here clearly. Although these components may differ in their core meaning, they're meant to be used in a similar manner. They help us fill a space with content. We talked about these components, yes, but their combination and their arrangement is actually what a layout is. Layouts in architecture determine the spaces, dimensions, and in general the organization of internal building objects. On the other hand, layouts in UX design actually support the structure of the user interface elements. You can see that the term is used in both areas, and that's not a coincidence. Layouts display these basic components that we just talked about, not only each one of them, but also the organization between them. But most of all, layouts represent information, no matter if it's physical or digital. But what about the connection between those group of elements? Think for a second. Why do we move from one place to another? We tend to move from room to room, depending on what we need to do or what we need to get. And it's the same in applications too. We navigate from one page to another, depending on what information we need to access and what interaction we need to do. Imagine yourself in this situation. You are going home after some long grocery shopping, so you carry many bags with yourself, like 2 in each hand. You get home, and where would be the first place that you leave those bags? I guess it won't be the bedroom, because this room doesn't bring the function that you need right now. Probably most of you will either leave the bags in the hallway or get them to the kitchen. But yeah, who knows? Someone else can have a different idea. I'll be happy to hear it later. But imagine that you want to leave those bags in the kitchen and you can't find it. And it's not where it's supposed to be. On the contrary, the kitchen can be accessed only through the bathroom. Huh? Weird? Unfortunately, such frustrating situations often happen in the digital medium. I guess most of you have been in a situation where you want to find the login page, you look in the toolbar, it's not there. You look in some other menu whatsoever, nowhere to be found. This frustrates the user. And unfortunately, this happens when some navigational patterns have been broken. These patterns have been established after years of research and explorations. And there are reasons why some elements and group of elements should be combined and connected together, and others not. And one of those reasons is the purpose and function. Purpose and functionality are crucial characteristics for all types of products. They give them a goal to fulfill. In architecture, purpose should be defined long prior the initial ideation phase. Each type of a building, no matter if it's a house, factory, or even a church, has its corresponding requirements which are based on the purpose that this building needs to fulfill in the end. And it's the same in applications too. But think for a second. Imagine that your bedroom is with the size of this huge hall. I mean, enormous area, and in the middle of it, your bed. I guess you wouldn't be feeling that comfortable sleeping in such large space. And that's why actually most of the standard bedrooms are not with such area size. But exactly area sizes, dimensions, proportions, and even interior elements are one of the key factors that help us experience the architectural environment. It's the same in applications too. Depending on the content and context, we can use different elements in order to achieve the desired user experience that we want the users to have. Sometimes you may want to have some fun, watching amusing videos online, while other times you may want to feel secured and assured of every step of a bank transaction process. Purpose and functionality places us in a situation from which we can draw conclusions, inspiration, and as designers explore what the desired impact we want to achieve on the user. And actually, sometimes the user has a way to leave their own mark on this impact, and does so with the personalization. I guess that probably you have thought how a simple room can have different designs, different ways of furnishing. I guess we have all experienced this when we have made renovations at home. Architecture, in that case, offers more freedom because it just gives you a blank space to play around with. However, user experience design also offers such option in some limitations, yes, but some applications allow the user to change a theme, color, or font, just something. Personalization is not something necessary to have, but I still think it's a good option for the user because it allows them to bring something from themselves inside of the product. So in the end, the product is not only created for the user, but also created by them, even just a little bit. And so, step by step, we have managed to reach our destination. But what is it? Well, this brings us back long, long time ago, at the age of the Roman Empire, over 2,000 years ago. Back then, there was a man who worked alongside Julius Caesar's best engineers. His name was Vitruvius, and he wrote one of the best works of its time, the 10 Books of Architecture. Those books were written as a guide for building projects, planning cities, structures, buildings, even exploring construction materials. These books also explored the human proportion, the main user. And later, these human proportions actually inspired the Renaissance artists. Most importantly, in these 10 books, Vitruvius describes the 3 key features which architectural objects should have: strength, usability, and beauty. Of course, architecture should be strong, meaning that it should be stable and durable. It should be useful, corresponding to the user's needs and requirements, and successfully serve its purpose. And third, it should be beautiful, meaning that it should be connected to the aesthetics of its environment and the context. But also, beauty refers to the level of detail and craftsmanship. Probably back then, Vitruvius didn't expect that these 3 simple words would also describe the features of a good product. No matter if it's physical or digital, any product. However, nowadays, I believe that one more feature should be added to this Vitruvius triad. A product should also be sustainable. No matter the type of product, if it's physical or digital, it should incorporate the thought for future. Sustainable doesn't only mean being recyclable. It means that the design process should not stop once the product is produced and the user interacts satisfied with it. Designers should also think for the moment after the usage. when the product is no longer needed. By applying those 4 pillars of good design, so far we have managed to create great products. And right now I believe it's time to continue this work on, improve further, and probably bring it to the next level. I want you to think of architecture and UX design as 2 roads leading to the same destination. It's true that one tends to exist in the physical and the other is for the digital medium. The building method, materials, and even components may differ. However, in the end, all products, no matter the type, should be strong, useful, beautiful, and sustainable. By exploring similarities between different areas, we can get on board with unfamiliar tasks easily. We can draw inspiration, and we can be open to explore unconventional trails. I want you to remember one thing. Similarities can be found in different areas. Areas that at first glance might seem disconnected from your own. However, architecture and UX design are just one example. We are all explorers, and I am truly curious what comes next, what you will discover. I'm happy that you joined me through this journey of the parallels between architecture and UX design. It was a pleasure being here with you today.
Any questions? Okay.
Thank you. So maybe just wanted to ask if you can elaborate on the specific user, because as you say, building is created for the person using it, but there's a very big difference between a specialized user and a generic user. So let's say a house is used by everybody, but a factory is used by specific users. And so the same is true for software. We have general purpose software, so for example, Netflix, YouTube, whatever, that's used by a general public. And then there is specialized software, by the way, something that SAP is mostly doing, where you have a person who has to input a number of documents each day, and for them performance in this input is more important than the beauty, while for other users the beauty is more important. So that's maybe something very interesting if you could give your opinion.
Yeah, of course. Well, as you mentioned, user experience design sometimes focus on generic users and sometimes on specific users. It's the same in architecture. I mean, if you want to create like a huge building of apartments, you can't ask each family what do they want in their apartment. You make something that is sort of unified for them all. But when someone comes to you and say, okay, I want you to design my dream home, you focus on this user in particular. So I would say that in this sense, SAP is sort of designing the dream product of the specific users for their current needs, but not overall. So yeah, the approach depends on what you want to have in the end as a product, something that suits for most of the people or something that you really want to do for a single family.
Okay, another questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you.